Have you ever wondered what leadership lessons can we learn from ancient political figures and their works? Niccolo Machiavelli was a Renaissance political thinker from Florence, Italy, during a period marked by political turmoil and shifting power dynamics among city-states. As a diplomat and official in the Florentine Republic, he observed the complexities of leadership in a fragmented and often unstable Italy. His writings on political leadership in The Prince and strategic understanding of warfare and the art of war made him one of the most prominent thinkers in the study of political philosophy. Machiavelli's writings represent a philosophy grounded in political realism, acknowledging the critical role of power in achieving political goals. From his works, we can sense the importance of a practical approach to governance, emphasizing a realpolitik framework that prioritizes effective administration over idealistic rhetorics. This mode of approach has therefore been frequently scrutinized for its moral implications. The term Machiavellianism in politics today refers to the act of prioritizing state stability over ethical considerations, strategically advocating deception, manipulation, and sometimes ruthless actions to achieve certain political goals. His rationale showed a combination of consequentialism and political immoralism. But do the ends always justify the means for leaders, and where do moral values play in that process? These are questions to be considered when we're reading The Prince, perhaps Machiavelli's most renowned piece on personal leadership, where he emphasized three major political philosophies. First, loyalty and unity, especially from the armed forces, are crucial to successful leadership. To obtain them will require adequate employment of cruelty. And a leader then, to be great, should not be concerned about being feared by his own people. Machiavelli believes it is harder for an individual to offend or rebel against someone they fear because as humans we find it easier to hurt the ones that we love. But fear should also be distinguished from hatred. And lastly, friendships based on self-interest are unreliable. Relationships built on material incentives or external rewards are inherently unstable. They are transactional rather than rooted in the respect or shared principles, and therefore cannot be fully trusted in times of need. Putting these points into contemporary context, a great leader would have to be assertive and driven in making decisions, focus on achieving the end goal, being virtuous and prudent, knowing when to show confidence and when to be concerned. And lastly, to be cautious of who to make friends with, especially in a formal setting. A leader is expected to handle conflict like a prince would have to lead his country in case of warfare. In The Art of War, Machiavelli stressed further the importance of loyalty in winning a battle. Also, that the quality of your soldiers will matter more than the quantity in the long-term development. Machiavelli also thinks that conflict between men is inevitable, and therefore leaders must always be prepared for the unexpected, because conflict and war will be destructive to the team if unprepared for, but if properly channeled, may bring positive results and encourage development. And lastly, the leader should try to take initiatives in times of conflict. That is, to know when to retreat, to leave room for strategic adjustment. These all showcased us a puzzling view of leadership and ethics, especially with the standards from contemporary society. Machiavelli's focus on state stability as the leader's primary ethical responsibility may be one-sided and negligent. A Machiavellian leader in modern times, in politics for example, faced the same moral and ethical criticisms. Fearlessness and assertiveness in one's leadership is subjective. While it might benefit the common good of a team or a single state, it might require the sacrifice of the masses or an adversary. In international relations, assertive states are often perceived as aggressive. Furthermore, within a team or a state, a leadership with a high degree of centralized decisive power and control may be accused of being undemocratic or even authoritarian, which we must be reminded that Machiavelli wrote these during the politically unstable Renaissance Italy. With widespread power struggles and divisions among city-states, assertiveness is much needed for a leader to succeed. But is authoritarian leadership always bad? Is it also true that power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely? Great men are almost always bad men, even when they exercise influence and not authority. Still more when you superadd the tendency or the certainty of corruption by authority. These are questions to be considered with a broader context. But for now, we can learn from Machiavelli what are the qualities a great leader, especially in times of chaos and conflict, should obtain?